The U.S. Electoral System by Olivia I&S. The U.S. electoral system is a process taking place every 4 years. This is a single constituency, meaning only one seat is awarded through this election. It was created and founded by the Founding Fathers. This process was created initially because it was believed that voting directly was prone to error. This is where voters don't only vote directly for a vice president or president, they also vote for a group of people that have pledged to vote for their chosen candidate. This group of people is called the electors. Each U.S. state gets a certain amount of electors. This number is based on how many senators the state has, which is always 2, plus the representatives. The number of representatives can vary from state depending on the population of the state. For example, California has 55 states while Vermont has 3. How are these electors chosen, you might ask? Electors are chosen by political parties based on their loyalty and party. Most states have a system referred to as winner takes all. This means whichever candidate wins the popular vote for the state wins all the electoral votes for that state. But there are 2 states that don't use this system. These states are Nebraska and Maine. They use a different system called congressional district method. But here's the thing. Just because a candidate wins the population's popular vote doesn't mean they win the election. Let's look at the recent 2016 elections. We had 2 candidates running for the title of president, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. In order to win, they needed 270 of the electors' votes out of 538. Trump ended up winning by collecting 306 of these electors' votes, which is above the threshold of 270. Hillary only managed to collect 232 of the electors' votes, which is under the threshold. This means that Trump ended up winning the elections. But although Trump won the majority of the electors' votes, Hillary won the popular vote of the population. This means more people actually voted for Hillary, not Trump. But then why did he win? He won because the value of the electors' votes are greater than the value of the population's, meaning as long as the candidate wins the majority of the electors' votes, they are inclined to win. So this means that Trump won the elections even though more people ended up voting for Hillary. So, what does this show us? This shows us how the democracy can become a natural aristocracy. An aristocracy is when certain groups, typically in the high-class society, have more power over the elections. Because the electors have a greater value of vote, their vote is more influential to the result of the elections. And this is what happened in this case of the 2016 elections. Let's take a look at something else. So, how does this system affect women? Well, women and racial minority groups have what's called an unfair representation in the U.S. government. So far, only 27 out of the 50 states have female senators, although over 50% of the population is female. So, why don't they have as much power as men in the office? Women are best represented in a multi-proportional representation, where more than one seat is elected. But why is this? Well, let's look at something called the core group. The core group is a term used in the government a lot. At the core of this group is typical white, heterosexual, rich men. But why do people vote for this core group? And why is there a core group? Well, let's take a look. People tend to vote for the core group because it's considered a safe option. It's what's been done before, and it's what we're used to. But is this good? Also, some people even vote for it subconsciously without even knowing because this is what they're used to. If we look back, we'll see that this is what's been done before, and that a lot of representatives were in the core group. From this is the understanding that it's hard for women to get fair representation. Let's compare this electoral system to other electoral systems like it. Starting off, AV, or alternative vote, is an alternative electoral system. This is where voters rank candidates from their favorite to their least favorite on a ballot. This way, as the candidate with the least amount of votes gets eliminated each round, their votes are then distributed to the voter's second choice. This, too, is a single constituency. But how do we get from there? Well, this system continues until there's one candidate left. After completing this electoral system, we see that this leaves candidate A the winner, Why? Because candidate A won the majority of the votes throughout the rounds. First past the post is another electoral system used in the UK this time. But how does the system work? Although it's used in the UK, it is very similar to the US. Like in the US electoral system, when it's time to vote, there is one vote per citizen. Then the votes are added up, and the candidate with the most votes wins. But then there is something called minority rule. Minority rule happens when more people ended up not voting for the winning candidate. How can this happen? Let's take a look. If we have 5 candidates, lion, cat, pig, turtle, and leopard, let's say 40% vote for lion, 25% turtle, 15% leopard, 10% for both pig and cat. Lion wins because 40% of the voters voted for him. But a big percent, 60% of the voters did not vote for him, which means more people didn't want lion to win. And 60% is a greater value than the value that wanted him to win. This is less likely to happen in the AV system because voters can rank their candidates. But if we look back at the US electoral system, this has happened because more people wanted Hillary to win than they wanted Trump to win. But she ended up not winning. There's another issue too. It's called the unavoidable two-party system. What is this? It's when voters start to notice that there's 2 main candidates running for office. And these are the 2 main candidates that most people are campaigning for. They may think voting for another candidate is just a waste of their vote. But here's the thing. Voters may not like either candidate very much. So what do they do then? Well, here's where the phrase, least of the 2 evils, comes into play. This is when voters vote for the candidate they'd rather have win. Let's look at an example. Let's say we have 2 main candidates running for office, lion and turtle. When Mouse goes to vote, she sees that there are 2 main candidates, but she doesn't really like either to win. But she really does not want lion to win, because she's afraid of him. So she votes for turtle so that making sure lion doesn't win. This is called strategic voting. Again, this probably won't happen in the AV system, as voters can rank their candidates from their favorite to their least favorite so that they feel like their vote counts. The first past the post system and the US system, this can lead voters to feel that their vote is meaningless and worthless, that it has no place as it doesn't count, and this is no good. If we look back to the election of 2016 in the American electoral system, we see that there were more than 2 candidates running, but the most campaigned and publicized were Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, running for the Republican and the Democrats. But these were 2 main candidates. And these are the ones we saw on the TV and in the news mostly. But if we think about this is not good because it makes people feel that they don't have a good vote if they don't want the 2 main candidates. But all 3 of the electoral systems have their flaws. AV, first past the post, and the American electoral system. But it's still very important to learn about these systems and to learn about which one your country uses. Why, you might ask? Well, I'll tell you. Because when you turn 18 and get the right to vote, you have a responsibility to the world and to yourself. So, when voting comes around, don't forget to vote smart. I hope you learned something while watching this video. Thanks for watching!